recently taken on board the importance of, I suppose, having another accountant come in and to review the work as well. Because with these books that I've looked at, there's a lot of opportunities for things that we can take advantage of.
All right. Hey guys, welcome. Episode 2. Welcome, Justin, again.
How
exciting. I guess we're here today just to have a little chat about what's going on in IT, what's going on in accounting, and just have a listen, just enjoy.
We'll talk about the release of the Open AI store. Came out a few days ago, as of when we're recording this. I've had a bit of a play around with that, which I've found has been pretty fun, actually.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah. Have you done much with it before? Or?
I've played around with it a bit. Some pretty cool tech. So it'll be extremely interesting to see where it's going to go towards and how people are going to use it to integrate it with their businesses or help them with pretty much anything.
Yeah. Big thing I'm trying to use with it at the moment is to see how I can really use it for my marketing efforts and things like that. So I've got the Alex Mosey GPT, which has his 2 books, $100 million offers and $100 million leads, all in the one GPT. And I've added in that GPT Sabri Subri's Sell Like Crazy book as well to try to combine their 2 knowledge bases. And what I'm looking at doing at the moment is I've got a few accounting books as well that sort of delve into really good tactics and things like that. So I'm adding that all together to try to create like a mega GPT which would help do blog posts and other cool stuff to send out. So very excited to see what that looks like. What I've played around with so far looks very promising. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
honestly,
playing with it a bit more.
And that's the amazing part about like this tech. Like you don't really have to be a master of everything, but it's able to incorporate many different aspects of your day-to-day life that you kind of need optimized, and it outputs some incredible stuff. So it's only early days. So it's awesome.
I'm excited to see where it goes with the in the crypto tax space as well, which has seen a lot of development over the last few years in Australia with Coinly, which is sort of the international brand. Crypto tax calculator is sort of the main one in Australia, but there's other companies like Silo that have popped up as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that sort of integrates with helping match transactions and things like that. But yes, it's certainly heating up again with the markets there, a bit more interest as well. So I'm expecting probably a few more clients to come through that side. It's just crazy, like, since a lot of accountants don't understand or know how to do the crypto taxes properly. I've had people come to me with what their previous accountant had prepared, and it was so wildly incorrect. Like, I've had clients come to me saying, that they've got the accountant's prepared and it's got like a 20-30 grand tax bill, when in actuality they've lost money and the accountant didn't understand how the transaction and everything works properly. And for that, like this particular client that I've had that I'm thinking about, it actually turned into he actually had a large loss, and we actually reviewed his position. He was actually more of a trader than an investor, but the accountant that was looking at it didn't have the full understanding to be able to make that, to review the facts well enough to make that determination. So when I did the return, it actually ended up being a 20-30 grand refund that he got. So quite a significant difference,
That's a difference of 60 grand.
Very important to make sure that the person that's looking at your books knows what they're talking about. So,
and crypto is not really new, but I guess it's kind of new to the Australian government and stuff like that. And all these new rules and stuff that come out constantly, and these rules kind of are there for a good reason. What about like cybersecurity risks? and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like I've had clients that have lost a lot of money from scams as well because it is so prevalent in the space. So it's very important, well, not even just for crypto, in general as well, but especially in crypto, to have good security, and to protect your data and things like that. Like with the most recent Optus hack as well, where a lot of customer data was released as well. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah, good point about Optus hack, right? Hackers target the least resistant way of entering a company. And most of the time that is human error. Humans are so susceptible of clicking links and getting excited about something, or when someone makes a really good comment over the phone, they kind of become inclined that I actually owe them a favor. But in reality, these are hackers that sometimes just want to grab some little bit of information, and all they need is a little bit to then convert it into something else, which will essentially create these breaches, right? I've heard a few stories of recently people in the industry where small engineering companies, they got hacked, and excuse me, and it took the company about 128 days to realize they've been hacked. And that's only because they got in by simply an employee clicking an email phishing link that looked like fully legitimate. And then the hackers basically searched around, got every single piece of data that they kind of need, and slowly extracted everything they needed. And then on pretty much the 28th or 29th day, they decided to just completely shut the whole operation down. So they shut everyone's accesses, and the company was like, oh, I don't know what's happened. And it took a professional IT company to essentially go in there, figure it all out. And it's the only way to get all that like data back is by making sure that all the databases are backed up, not in just one location, but many locations. So you kind of have to, like, it's just crazy.
Need somebody that can help take care of that, like to really make sure you're protected there. I've seen a lot of stories about businesses being targeted, and I think it's just becoming more and more common these days. And like at this recent business I was at, it was like a local golf simulator here place. Their website actually got hacked, where the person that hacked it was actually able to redirect the URL to another website that was selling like shoes or something like that. So I see the need to make sure that your website and everything like is definitely secured, because it's just, I suppose if you don't have those things in place, it can be really easy for somebody to take advantage of that.
100%. And I guess in addition to that, like two-factor authentication, like that's extremely important these days. Almost every company now, like Google, Facebook, you name it, everyone, they ask you to put that secondary piece of security on, because passwords can be easily extracted. They are most of the time written in basic text in some database if they're an ancient company, and 9 times out of 10, a human, all of us, would use the same password on multiple accounts. So if you created an account, let's say on MySpace back in the day, there's a chance that that password is probably used today. So it's a no-brainer for the hackers to basically try before they need to try any harder.
I've seen the ATOs recently rolled out, I suppose, what they would consider their method of two-step verification recently, with the whole rollout of the client-agent linking process, which has been an absolute nightmare for everybody involved, to be honest. Because in the past, it was quite a straightforward process to, as an accountant, to take on a new business client. You'd simply just need the client's tax file number or ABN information and to be able to add the client, and it was simple as done. There was actually a lot of fraud that was happening that I've seen on these sort of like Airtasker, for example, where you could go to just find an agent for very cheaply doing work. But what was happening is that there was these people that were impersonating that they were representing a company as if they were the director, when in reality they weren't. And these BAS agents that weren't doing the due diligence to verify who they were speaking to were actually the owners of the company. They were actually lodging these fraudulent BAS claims, resulting in large GST refunds, and these scammers were going around basically getting the money pulled out of these companies and from the ATO incorrectly. So that was one of the reasons I think the ATO rolled out this agent linking step, which has made it much more involved now. Basically, the client needs to accept has to manually themselves nominate the accountant to become the tax agent or the BAS agent of the company. But it's such a it's been a large nightmare. I was actually on the phone with a client yesterday for an hour getting this whole process sorted, and that they don't normally have to deal with this stuff. They're busy working in their business, but we had to walk through the whole getting the MyGov ID sorted out, they had to find their identity documents to verify who they were. Then it was linking them personally to the business, and then onto a third government website to then link to confirm the nomination. So I think there's a lot of work in this space at the moment, because it's definitely hurting people. But to protect from the 0.1% of bad actors, obviously things needed to change, but it's a lot of room for improvement, I'd say at this point. Yeah.
I guess the Australian government, they try their best, or the ATO. It's an ongoing process, and you can't really speed along. Let's take a break, and we'll be back shortly. Yeah, welcome back. Yes.
I was going to say this client that I recently taken on board, the importance of I suppose having another accountant come in and to review the work as well, because with these books that I've looked at, there's a lot of opportunities for things that we can take advantage of with the accelerated depreciation on their assets. Things that we'll look to implement before this next tax year is done, in terms of paying the super early before the end of the year, and also making sure that any debtors are essentially written off like that. So just from what I've reviewed alone, there's already thousands of dollars that we're going to be able to save them just by having that, I suppose, a proactive approach, because a lot of accountants, unfortunately, are really only looking at the compliance side of what needs to be done, and they're typically looking at your books a year and a half after things have happened, which doesn't really give any real opportunity to take advantage of things as they happen, especially with the way that the rules change every year. So you really need somebody that's up to date with what's happening. A big part of what I looked at as well with them is the structuring was all wrong. There's a lot of legal risk with it at the moment. They're currently trading. There's some clients I've found that are just still trading out of their own name, and there's a lot of legal risk trading as a sole trader, because if basically something goes wrong, you get sued personally. Whereas if you're not trading through either a company or a trust, like they can come after you. Whereas if you're trading through a company, it's very difficult to get sued personally. It's not impossible, but it provides a lot of protection. And really, in most cases, you can only be sued for whatever the company in this case has, or through a trust, would be whoever the trustee is as well. So in most cases, we have a company there somewhere that provides that protection, but a lot of that can get missed if you're not taking care of things properly, or you don't want to spend a little bit extra to make sure your house and things like that are protected.
Yeah. I guess a lot of people probably don't understand that process either.
No, they don't. And what I'd always say is definitely reach out to your accountant to talk about it. I should be able to help hopefully provide that advice without, because they're obviously incentivized to want to help set something up. So definitely talk around to who you can. There's also lots of tax saving opportunities as well, not just trading through your own name, because if you just trade through your own name, there's not really a lot of potential there to take advantage of spouses who you could potentially look at employing, or different family members that might have lower incomes that could definitely benefit from trust distribution as well, if it was through a trust structure. And companies pay a flat rate of tax at the moment, 25%. So there's definitely a lot of savings to be had there if you're making more than 120K a year at the moment. Yeah, for sure.
Sounds awesome. We love savings. Everyone does. And I guess speaking of savings kind of thing, we can go back to talking about some technology, like saving time utilizing technology that we have. So like with artificial intelligence, stuff like that, though it has been around for so long, we have OpenAI who has kind of streamlined the process and allowing everyone to enjoy all the goodies from the AI. And a few places where I think it would benefit a lot would be in the healthcare sector, with the AI being able to analyze, for example, medical records. And there's a lot of one person may have like thousands and thousands of records, and a bunch of doctors may take days to review that, but what if the patient doesn't have that time?
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how AI more integrates with accounting side as well, because most of the popular accounting apps like Xero and QuickBooks, that uses a lot of machine learning, and it looks as to how you've coded transactions and then makes suggestions for you.
Yeah.
I think the path that we'll eventually see is AI will come in and help do a lot of that cleanup. It'll make very accurate suggestions as to what certain things should be coded as, which is just going to make the role of bookkeeping a much less time-consuming process. So it'll be interesting to see how that keeps going from there.
100%. And then in addition to all of that, we can look into like machine learning and stuff like that in the education system. We understand that children and many people learn in different ways, and AI, machine learning, all those kind of systems together can provide a really good base for people to learn in their own ways. When we were in high school and probably throughout university, we just had to watch some videos and do it. But in today's age, a lot of people, from what we see, they get to ask ChatGPT, hey, what's the answer to this question? Rather than just Googling it, and you have to find the answer.
Yeah, I'm quite jealous of the answer today.
Yeah. You feel like their lives became easier, right? So that's where that efficiency comes in. And it's definitely a really exciting space.
It's a bit scary too.
Yeah, it's a bit of both.
You're
sure.
Not too sure how things will develop and what jobs will look like. Even I can't even. I find it hard to imagine what even the next 10 years looks like. It just seems every year there's next big unveiling. I think the ChatGPT 4.5 is probably set to come out in the next 6 months, and who even knows what GPT 5 looks like. It could be a complete paradigm shift. So yes, an exciting but very scary time, I'd say.
100%, totally agree. And exciting stuff is also in the blockchain section. It's been around for a long time as well.
Wow.
But we've gone through some ups and downs, and a lot of people have put a lot of energy into development of the blockchain, developing new coins, exchanges, all that kind of stuff to streamline a old system of finance into a new upgraded blockchain. And we definitely see coins like ICP, which is Internet Computer Protocol. They put a lot of effort into being able to streamline the way people develop and they're definitely encouraging people to put as much effort into that and develop their awesome startups using their ICP protocol. And so it'll be really interesting to see where it's all going. And with all the massive price increases, everyone's really excited. So on your end, everyone's going to be coming to you soon.
I hope so.
But yeah, crazy. Honestly, crazy. So yeah, but I guess on the other side, as we talked about cybersecurity and all that kind of stuff, and what other concerns we may have with all new technologies, there has to be a lot of research in the potential of, can it be hacked? Will people lose their money? Like, what's happening there? So
yeah, like even, and especially with the crypto side of things, like I normally set up like a dummy email for my clients if we need to set them up with an email address for the different crypto tax software solutions that we're looking, because if the company that takes care of that gets hacked, the phishing emails that come out are so sophisticated. There was one provider that I'd signed up for just as as part of my job, that the email that came out looked so legitimate that even I was like, oh, this looks like a legitimate communication. And then I went on Twitter to check, but it was actually a phishing email, but it was very sophisticated. So it's very much a thing you need to take care of that privacy, and I make sure for my clients that I do everything possible that we can to make sure they're protected as much as possible.
yeah,
yeah.
No, that's awesome. It's definitely a very good technique. And education between like clicking links, like you said, like incredibly difficult to spot differences. A hacker can easily right click on the website or on an email, view the source code, Control C, Control V, send it out to you. If they get your email some way or another, and you'll click it 9 times out of 10. You will click it. So it's really important in saying that, it's really important to have some sort of like malware bites, for example. Like that's one piece of software that I use on majority of my systems or anyone's, purely on the fact that it can monitor what you're clicking, and if it detects that you've clicked on a malicious link, it will close that connection as soon as it can, so then you're not making yourself vulnerable. So remote work in IT, huge these days. Everyone wants to work remotely. No one wants to go inside.
Ever since COVID, of course.
Ever since COVID, yeah. And that's purely in the fact, engineers, like software engineers, they don't need to be in person. Yeah, there are some benefits of like collaborating with someone and you can ask questions instantly, but in reality, you can ask that on Teams and screen share, and it does the same thing, if not better, purely because when you're on Teams screen sharing and the other person's controlling the screen, or you have software, let's say on VS Code, you can get an extension that essentially allows you to live code together. Like, what's the point of being in person anymore? So a lot of people these days are becoming digital nomads, flying to Thailand, flying to Bali, and just enjoying life. Like time frames are, like time zones are very similar. They get up, they do their 9 to 5 work, and then they go and have fun in a different country. That is a life. That is a life.
I mean, during COVID, obviously everybody was working from home, and that was no different for accountants. Like a lot of, we had no choice really. I do know a lot of the colleagues I used to have, they had negotiated a few days from home still, but there was definitely a big push, I think, industry-wide in accounting to go back into the office. But I think a lot of people got used to the freedom of maybe being able to sleep in a bit longer than having to commute to work. So there's a lot of push for wanting to go back to that, but I haven't heard of any accountants going to Thailand yet to do their work. I think too much of it still probably relies on having to see the client at times. So
is it just for the comfort of the client, or is it just because you do have to sometimes hold physical receipts, for example, or like all that kind of stuff?
it really depends on the client. Like a lot of my clients can operate from the cloud, whether we can take a photo and it gets uploaded directly to the accounting software we're using, like Xero, for example. So there's clients that I haven't seen for a few years now, but there's other ones that that do have the physical docs that aren't quite there yet, that I do still see quite
yet.
well. It's operate to what they're comfortable with, and although it would be cheaper and easier for them if we did it the more streamlined way, I still operate with how they want to do it as well. So
100%. And yeah, like Xero and all those kind of accounting software that are on the cloud, which is incredible. Like everything is so streamlined these days. We thank, I guess, Amazon Web Services, Google, all those kind of amazing companies that allow you to essentially do all those cloud computing, which is crazy and awesome. But yeah, what else do you want to talk about? I don't know.
let's wrap it up. Well, thanks for joining us for this episode, guys. I hope we got some value out of it. We're looking at having some guests on shortly, so they can share their business journeys with us and everything what they've found successes in. So looking forward to that. And so please give us a follow, and we'll be back for more soon.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.